by the rivers of Babylon. Yeah, we sat down and we cried when we remembered Jerusalem. We were sick, Lord, near to dying.
First and foremost, let's offer all honors, praises, respect, acknowledgement, and thanks unto the great King of the universe, unto the God of our fathers, the God of Abraham, the God of Yisrael, and the God of Yaakov, thanking him for all things and everything. Shabbat Shalom L'Kol.
Shabbat Shalom L'Kol.
Please be seated. All right. How's everybody feeling? Okay. No. I know it's the afternoon. I know it's hot. I know we just ate. Listen, I had a salad and I had a half of a sandwich on this big ciabatta bread. So I'm full too. My contoner is barely fitting right now. But I know we can do a little better than that. How's everybody feeling? I'll take that because it might get worse next time. All right. So we're going to continue, and we're going to continue to talk about, we're going to continue the book of Judges, and we're going to talk about my favorite tribe. We're going to talk about the people's favorite tribe.
Yes.
But in all seriousness, we're going to start in the book of Judges 13, and we're going to talk about the life of Samson. And, you know, one of the things about the Most High God that I'm hoping that, you know, we'll be able to be shown in this portion is that two things. First, God does the things that God does for a reason. But God uses people. And in a lot of the different stories that you're gonna read about, you're gonna see that we're still people. These were still people. The various different things that they're gonna go through in their life, the various things that, the various different things that happen, we're still people. And by some of the things that you will read, you'll see that this book don't fit no other people but us. Because we the only people. We the only people that's gonna kill 42,000 people because you can't say a sheen right. You know, I feel bad for the person who had a list and couldn't say it. Because man, you was in trouble.
Right.
But we the only people. We the people who kill. You wearing red, you wearing blue. Blue my favorite color. Not around here. And that's just us.
Right.
So you know that that's us. Right. So we're gonna get into this book of Judges 13th chapter. We're gonna kind of really go through 13 pretty quick because we already discussed 13 last week. But whenever you're ready.
In the book of Judges chapter 13 verse 1, hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
And the children of Yisrael.
Wait. You didn't read from the brother? I'm just asking. I thought this was the day-night thing. You wasn't. You just did something. You know what? Look, Levites is my new best friend. You know what I'm saying? Levites is my new best friend, man. That makes much. You right, it don't. You right, man. It would be you that say that. All right, let's just.
So you ready?
I'm ready. I think I'm ready.
Judges chapter 13 verse 1. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
And the children of Yisrael again did that which was evil in the sight of Yahweh.
One more again.
And the children of Yisrael again did that which was evil in the sight of Yahweh.
Just like he said, after Yiftah, and after Ishbam, and after Elon, and once again the Most High God saved.
And the children of Yisrael again did that which was evil in the sight of Yahweh. And Yahweh delivered them into the hand of the Philistines 40 years.
Amen.
And there was a certain man of Zorah, of the family of the Danites, whose name was Manoah, and his wife was barren and bore not. And the angel of Yahweh appeared unto the woman, and said unto her, Behold now, thou art barren, and hast not borne, but thou shalt conceive and bear a son. Now therefore beware, I pray thee, and drink no wine nor strong drink, and eat not any unclean thing. For lo, thou shalt conceive and bear a son, and no razor shall come upon his head. For the child shall be a Nazarite unto God from the womb, and he shall begin to save Yisrael out of the hand of the Philistines.
Right. And the one thing that I'm going to focus on here is that, like I said when I did this portion last week, is that, listen, one of the things that we have to realize is that sometimes we're born for a purpose. And the purpose that if we're born for a purpose, the Most High God has that purpose for us. A lot of the times we don't have a choice in that matter. When Jeremiah said, when God said to Jeremiah, listen, you know, before you was born, I had you ordained to be a prophet. Right. Jeremiah, trust me, after dealing with he was a young guy. After dealing with them Israelites a couple of times, he did not. Trust me, he did not want that job.
Right.
He was born for that purpose, and that's what that's what he had to fulfill. And it's going to be the same thing with Shimshon. And the thing about it is again, even though he was born for a purpose and he was supposed to be great, and you're gonna, as you go through the portion, you're gonna see why exactly the Most High God caused certain things in his life to happen the way that they happened. That was God orchestrating everything. Right. Come on.
Verse 6. Then the woman came and told her husband, saying, a man of God came unto me, and his countenance was like the countenance of the angel of God, very terrible. And I asked him not whence he was, neither told he me his name. For he said unto me, behold, thou shalt conceive and bear a son. Now drink no wine nor strong drink, and eat not any unclean thing, for the child shall be a Nazarite unto God from the womb to the day of his death. Verse 8. Then Manoah entreated Yahweh and said, O Yah, I pray thee, let the man of God whom thou didst send come again unto us, and teach us what we shall do unto the child that shall be born. And God hearkened to the voice of Manoah, and the angel of God came again unto the woman as she sat in the field. But Manoah, her husband, was not with her.
And again, I'm going to point out, like I pointed out last time, Manoah asked God for something. God gave it to him, but God didn't give it to him in a manner that he expected. Right. Manoah thought that God was going to come to him, have a sit down, get a pad and paper. I mean, it didn't work like that. God came to the wife again. Because remember, Manoah got the message from the wife. The wife said, a man of God came to me. This is what he told us to do with the child. And Manoah, like most men, not to make sound like cavemen or barbarians or nothing like that. Not to say that men and women can't talk, but when a married woman has certain kinds of conversations with other men, that make men feel like, all right, now wait a minute. This just seemed a little bit too personal now.
That's right.
It's perfectly okay. Men and women talk. Nobody's trying to make nobody prisoner or nothing like that. But if you start talking about, yeah, so what you doing tomorrow night? What you mean, what's she doing tomorrow night?
Right.
Ain't none of your business what she doing tomorrow night. I can ask, but I mean, and that's just something. So this is a very personal conversation. So Manoah wanted to know, so he prayed to God, please send the angel back again so that I can hear what this is that's supposed to be done. Come on.
Verse 9. And God hearkened to the voice of Manoah, and the angel of God came again unto the woman as she sat in the field. But Manoah, her husband, was not with her. And the woman made haste and ran, and told her husband, and said unto him, behold, the man have appeared unto me, that came unto me that day. And Manoah arose and went after his wife, and came to the man, and said unto him, art thou the man that spoketh unto the woman? And he said, I am. And Manoah said, now when thy word cometh to pass, what shall be the rule for the child, and what shall be done with him? And the angel of Yahweh said unto Manoah, all that I said unto the woman, let her beware. Yeah. She may not eat of anything that cometh of the grapevine, neither let her drink wine or strong drink, nor eat any unclean thing. Right. All that I commanded her, let her observe.
Exactly what I told her.
Right. Verse 15. And Manoah said unto the angel of Yahweh, I pray thee, let us detain thee, that we may make ready a kid for thee. And the angel of Yahweh said unto Manoah, right. Though thou detain me, I will not eat of thy bread. And if thou wilt make ready a burnt offering, thou must offer it unto Yahweh. For Manoah knew not that he was the angel of Yahweh. And
So,
go ahead.
one thing that I think, just to kind of throw out there for us to think about, is who the ones that do offering? Levites. Why the angel telling him? Why is the angel talking to Manoah about making a burnt offering?
People was doing what they wanted to do.
Exactly what it was.
Verse 17. And Manoah said unto the angel of Yahweh, what is thy name, that when thy words come to pass, we may do thee honor?
Yes, and too many questions.
And the angel of Yahweh said unto him, wherefore askest thou after my name, seeing it is hidden? So Manoah took the kid with the meal offering, and offered it upon the rock unto Yahweh. And the angel did wondrously, and Manoah and his wife looked on. For it came to pass, when the flame went up toward heaven from off the altar, that the angel of Yahweh ascended in the flame of the altar. And Manoah and his wife looked on, and they fell on their faces to the ground.
Right. So now, one of the things that I want to point out is a lot of times when you have Torah. Torah is Torah, and Torah stands by itself.
Right.
Now, what's going to happen is you're going to have...
We all spoke Hebrew. We all didn't speak Hebrew the same. We pronounced different letters in different ways. And even though a person tried to pronounce a word a certain way, they just couldn't do it. Because that's what the language dictates. People are going to say different things in different ways, and that doesn't make you wrong. The mere difference, for those who know Hebrew, between a sheen and a sonic. And he said, one said Shibboleth, but he couldn't frame his mouth to say Shibboleth. And obviously any of the other sheen words with sheen in it, he couldn't pronounce what those people presumed to be correctly. And so he said Shibboleth. And that was enough to cause you your life. Are you an Ephraimite? That means you don't belong over here. It was a time of war. And for whatever was going on, they could not allow for Ephraimites to continue to trickle into where they were at and then end up losing the war. And that was happening there. And here's the whole point of this story, because the rest of this talks about the next judges. We can continue to fight and fuss and argue about the different things that we do. But at the end of the day, after we finish arguing, do we ever ask ourselves, what did I get out the deal? Because if I stress myself for 15 years, 16 years, 17 years, and I didn't get what I thought I was supposed to get out the deal, then what was the point? If I sit down and I kill somebody, what was my point in me killing them? And how does God look at this? And so, my purpose of giving this lesson, and I say this all the time, is that this is the time of Judges here in the book, but we're living in the time of Judges right now here in this captivity. Because everybody's a judge of themselves, and we see one person do good, and then afterwards, all the good that they built upon, we throw it out the window. We forget about it. We forget why they did the things that they did so we can get to where we need to get to. And so I stop and I say we need to learn how to be a little more selfless and think of the bigger picture and the things that God wants us to do. Because we can't stop and sit and look and be like, hey, yeah, God wants us killing each other. We can't stop and say, yeah, God wants us destroying each other, or God wants us at each other's throat, threatening each other. When we assassinate each other's character, what do we think we're actually doing?
Right.
When you assassinate my character, you don't make just me look bad, you make Israelites look bad.
Right.
And so a lot of times when we do what we do, people stop and say, y'all really got into a war over the word Shibboleth? A war. 42,000 people are a lot of people. This is what you do. This is what you fight about. And I told y'all, that's what people say. They stop later on and they go, oh, if that's what Israelites are about, I don't think I want to be a part of that. without thinking, what does God want? It goes on to read.
And Yiftach judged Yisrael 6 years.
6 years. 6! I keep telling y'all about this perceived power. 6. That's the longest he ruled. Go ahead.
Then died Yiftach the Gileadite and was buried in one of the cities of Gilead. And after him, Ezban of Bethlehem judged Yisrael. And he had 30 sons. And 30 daughters he sent abroad. And 30 daughters he brought in from abroad for his sons. And he judged Yisrael 7 years.
Right.
And Ezban died and was buried at Bethlehem.
Seemed like the Israelites didn't like their leaders too long, right? 6 years, then another 7 years, then somebody else came up. It goes on to read.
And after him, Elon, the Zebulunite, judged Yisrael.
Right.
And he judged Yisrael 10 years. And Elon, the Zebulunite, died and was buried in Ayalon in the land of Zebulun.
Yeah, seems like a whole bunch of tribes got their turn. But it reads.
And after him, Abdon, the son of Hillel, the Pirathonite, judged Yisrael. And he had 40 sons and 30 sons that rode on 70 ass colts. And he judged Yisrael 8 years.
Right.
And Abdon, the son of Hillel, the Pirathonite, died. And he was buried in Parathon, in the land of Ephraim, in the hill country of the Amalekites. Hallelujah.
Hoping and praying y'all got something out of what I said. I know it was short. We got another speaker coming up that has a couple of more than a few chapters to do. So at this time I ask that you all rise. As I call up my brother, Samal Zaccar, Ben Dan, Ben Yisrael. Hallelujah. Hallelujah.
First and foremost, gives offering all honors, praises, respect, acknowledgement, and thanks unto the great King of the universe, unto the God of our fathers, the God of Abraham, the God of Yitzchak, and the God of Yaakov, thanking him for all things and everything. Shabbat Shalom L'Kol.
Shabbat Shalom L'Kol.
Please be seated. All right. How's everybody feeling? No. I know it's the afternoon. I know it's hot. I know we just ate. Listen, I had a salad and I had a half of a sandwich on this big ciabatta bread. So I'm full too. My katona is barely fitting right now. But I know we can do a little better than that. How's everybody feeling? I'll take that because it might get worse next time. All right. So we're going to continue, and we're going to continue to talk about, we're going to continue the book of Judges, and we're going to talk about my favorite tribe. We're going to talk about the people's favorite tribe.
Yes.
But in all seriousness, we're going to start in the book of Judges 13, and we're going to talk about the life of Samson. And, you know, one of the things about the Most High God that I'm hoping that, you know, we'll be able to be shown in this portion is that two things. First, God does the things that God does for a reason. But God uses people. And in a lot of the different stories that you're gonna read about, you're gonna see that we're still people. These were still people. The various different things that they're gonna go through in their life, the various things that, the various different things that happen, we're still people. And by some of the things that you will read, you'll see that this book don't fit no other people but us. Because we the only people. We the only people that's gonna kill 42,000 people because you can't say a sheen right. You know, I feel bad for the person who had a list and couldn't say that. Because man, you was in trouble.
Right.
But we the only people. We the people who kill. You wearing red, you wearing blue. Blue my favorite color. Not around here. And that's just us.
Right.
So you know that that's us. Right. So we're gonna get into this book of Judges 13th chapter. We're gonna kind of really go through 13 pretty quick because we already discussed 13 last week. But whenever you're ready.
In the book of Judges chapter 13 verse 1, hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
And the children of Yisrael.
You didn't read for me, brother? I'm just asking. I thought this was the day-night thing. You wasn't. You just did something. You know what? Look, Levites is my new best friend. You know what I'm saying? Levites is my new best friend, man. That makes money. You right, it don't. You right, man. It would be you that say that. All right, let's just.
So you ready?
I'm ready. I think I'm ready.
Judges chapter 13, verse 1. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
And the children of Yisrael again did that which was evil in the sight of Yahweh.
One more again.
And the children of Yisrael again did that which was evil in the sight of Yahweh.
Just like he said, after Yiftah, and after Ishbam, and after Elon, and once again the Most High God saved.
And the children of Yisrael again did that which was evil in the sight of Yahweh. And Yahweh delivered them into the hand of the Philistines 40 years.
Amen.
And there was a certain man of Zorah, of the family of the Danites, whose name was Manoah, and his wife was barren and bore not. And the angel of Yahweh appeared unto the woman, and said unto her, Behold now, thou art barren, and hast not borne, but thou shalt conceive and bear a son. Now therefore beware, I pray thee, and drink no wine nor strong drink, and eat not any unclean thing. For lo, thou shalt conceive and bear a son, and no razor shall come upon his head. For the child shall be a Nazarite unto God from the womb, and he shall begin to save Yisrael out of the hand of the Philistines.
Right. And the one thing that I'm going to focus on here is that, like I said when I did this portion last week, is that, listen, one of the things that we have to realize is that sometimes we're born for a purpose. And the purpose that if we're born for a purpose, the Most High God has that purpose for us. A lot of the times we don't have a choice in that matter. When when God said to Jeremiah, listen, you know, before you was born, I had you ordained to be a prophet. Right. Jeremiah, trust me, after dealing with he was a young guy. After dealing with them Israelites a couple of times, he did not. Trust me, he did not want that job.
Right.
He was born for that purpose, and that's what that's what he had to fulfill. And it's going to be the same thing with Shimshon. And the thing about it is again, even though he was born for a purpose and he was supposed to be great, and you're gonna, as you go through the portion, you're gonna see why exactly the Most High God caused certain things in his life to happen the way that they happened. That was God orchestrating everything. Right. Come on.
Verse 6. Then the woman came and told her husband, saying, A man of God came unto me, and his countenance was like the countenance of the angel of God, very terrible. And I asked him not whence he was, neither told he me his name. For he said unto me, Behold, thou shalt conceive and bear a son. Now drink no wine nor strong drink, and eat not any unclean thing, for the child shall be a Nazarite unto God from the womb to the day of his death. Verse 8. Then Manoah entreated Yahweh and said, O Yah, I pray thee, let the man of God whom thou didst send come again unto us, and teach us what we shall do unto the child that shall be born. And God hearkened to the voice of Manoah, and the angel of God came again unto the woman as she sat in the field. But Manoah, her husband, was not with her.
And again, I'm going to point out, like I pointed out last time, Manoah asked God for something. God gave it to him, but God didn't give it to him in a manner that he expected. Right. Manoah thought that God was going to come to him, have a sit down, get a pad and paper. I mean, it didn't work like that. God came to the wife again. Because remember, Manoah got the message from the wife. The wife said, a man of God came to me. This is what he told us to do with the child. And Manoah, like most men, not to make sound like cavemen or barbarians or nothing like that. Not to say that men and women can't talk, but when a married woman has certain kinds of conversations with other men, that make men feel like, all right, now wait a minute. This just seemed a little bit too personal now.
That's right.
It's perfectly okay. Men and women talk. Nobody's trying to make nobody prisoner or nothing like that. But if you start talking about, yeah, so what you doing tomorrow night? What you mean, what's she doing tomorrow night? Right. Ain't none of your business what she doing tomorrow night. I can ask, but I mean, and that's just something. So this is a very personal conversation. So Manoah wanted to know, so he prayed to God, please send the angel back again so that I can hear what this is that's supposed to be done. Come on.
Verse 9. And God hearkened to the voice of Manoah, and the angel of God came again unto the woman as she sat in the field. But Manoah her husband was not with her. And the woman made haste and ran, and told her husband, and said unto him, Behold, the man have appeared unto me, that came unto me that day. And Manoah arose and went after his wife, and came to the man, and said unto him, Art thou the man that spoketh unto the woman? And he said, I am. And Manoah said, Now when thy word cometh to pass, what shall be the rule for the child, and what shall be done with him? And the angel of Yahweh said unto Manoah, All that I said unto the woman, let her beware. Yeah. She may not eat of anything that cometh of the grapevine, neither let her drink wine or strong drink, nor eat any unclean thing. Right. All that I commanded her, let her observe.
Exactly what I told her.
Right. Verse 15. And Manoah said unto the angel of Yahweh, I pray thee, let us detain thee, that we may make ready a kid for thee. And the angel of Yahweh said unto Manoah, right. Though thou detain me, I will not eat of thy bread. Right. And if thou wilt make ready a burnt offering, thou must offer it unto Yahweh. Right. For Manoah knew not that he was the angel of Yahweh. And
so, one thing that I think, just to kind of throw out there for us to think about, is who the ones that do offering? Levites. Why the angel telling him? Why is the angel talking to Manoah about making a burnt offering?
People was doing what they wanted to do.
Exactly what it was.
Verse 17. And Manoah said unto the angel of Yahweh, What is thy name, that when thy words come to pass, we may do thee honor?
Yes, and too many questions.
And the angel of Yahweh said unto him, Wherefore askest thou after my name, seeing it is hidden? So Manoah took the kid with the meal offering, and offered it upon the rock unto Yahweh. And the angel did wondrously, and Manoah and his wife looked on. For it came to pass, when the flame went up toward heaven from off the altar, that the angel of Yahweh ascended in the flame of the altar. And Manoah and his wife looked on, and they fell on their faces to the ground.
Right. So now, one of the things that I want to point out is a lot of times when you have Torah. Torah is Torah, and Torah stands by itself.
Right.
Now, what's going to happen is you're going to have the book of Judges, Kings, Samuel, all those different things.
Down. That's right.
And what's going to happen is,
that's right,
in the historical aspect of the Tanakh, you're going to read where people did certain things
that were against Torah,
that was different than Torah. Right?
That's right. That's right.
Okay. Now, in some instances, it may even seem like God accepted the things that people did that was against Torah. Seen. And I'm not going to say he did. I'm not going to say he didn't. But what I am going to say is, so Manoah had this offering, and it was a burnt offering and a meal offering. And then the angel, they set fire to the offering, and the angel went up in the flame of the offering. It didn't say that God killed nobody for the offering, that this Danite brought forth, or this non-Levite or non-Aaronite brought forth. It didn't say that God killed anybody, but this is something that happened. One of the things that I think that we need to take from this is that just because things happen as a historical reference, we cannot use that as a precedent to say this is why it's okay to do something contrary to Torah.
Hallelujah.
Because the Most High God don't work like that. It was just something that happened, and it told you in the beginning that the children of Israel did again that which was evil, and everybody in the time of Judges did that which was right in their own eyes. Right. Which is what got us to the point that we were at. So I just want to make the point, just because we might read things, that doesn't mean that there's a contradiction to Torah. That doesn't mean that God changed Torah. What's in Torah is what's in Torah. And the things that they did later as a historical reference, it's just what it is. That's just what they did. Maybe God accepted it, maybe he didn't. Torah's still Torah.
That's right.
Come on.
Verse 21. But the angel of Yahweh did no more appear to Manoah or to his wife. Then Manoah knew that he was the angel of Yahweh. And Manoah said unto his wife, We shall surely die because we have seen God. But his wife said unto him, If Yahweh were pleased to kill us, he will not have received a burnt offering and a meal offering at our hand. Neither will he have shown us all these things.
Get it together, snap out of it.
No, will at this time have told such things as these.
Come on, relax.
Verse 24.
Relax.
And the woman bore a son, and called his name Samson, Shimshon.
Shimshon.
Right.
Powerful name. Come on.
And the child grew, and Yahweh blessed him. And the spirit of Yahweh began to move him in Machane Dan, between Zorah and Eshao.
That's right.
Right. So now we're going to get into Shimshon.
Chapter 14. Judges chapter 14, verse 1. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
And Shimshon went down to Timnah, and saw a woman in Timnah of the daughters of the Philistines.
My goodness.
Of the Philistines.
That's what we starting at.
Of the Philistines.
I heard you. I heard you every time you said it. That's what we start. Listen, the first chapter. Look, we talk about all this racist, and the first chapter, and Samson went down and saw a woman in Timnah, and he didn't even just see a woman; he saw a foreign woman. Listen, it do happen.
Right.
But we all people.
Right.
We all people. I'm debating on whether or not I should read that meme that somebody sent me yesterday.
You should read it.
You know the one you sent me.
That was an excellent meme. I think you should read it.
I figured you would say that. I'm still debating though. I'm still debating. But listen, so he saw a woman. Come on, let's go.
Verse 2.
This is where the portion starts to go from PG to PG-13. Come on.
Verse 2. And he came up and told his father and his mother and said, I have seen a woman in Timnah of the daughters of the Philistines. Now therefore get her for me to wife. Get her for me to wife.
Listen, so why you reading extra time?
I thought you wanted me to emphasize on that.
I'm just wondering why you reading extra time. But listen, so now, because we had this conversation during the break.
Right.
And I'm not going to go into the depths of the conversation. What I am going to say is this. You have what's written in the Torah, and then you have the culture that we as a people had that I'm a strong, firm believer in. The culture is a direct reflection of the Torah that the Most High God gave. So now, you're going to have some things that people are going to talk about where it's going to be like, that's not written in Torah, that's not written in Torah. But when you see some of the examples of the culture that we as a people exhibited, then you have to accept and respect those those cultural aspects that are talked about in some of the historical references. So the first thing that he did, he didn't act like a savage. He didn't act like an animal and go grab this girl and come on, talk about let's go to the movies. He didn't do that. He went to his parents and asked his parents to go talk to her parents so that they could start to have a conversation and talk. That's culture. That's culture. When you start, when you find somebody that you think is cute, because it's perfectly okay for girls and boys, males and females to find the opposite sex cute. That's okay. That's okay. The way that you handle it after that is what makes a good situation or a bad situation. Right. So this is what he did. Look, I saw this girl, man on man. She's nice, get her for me to wife. What the parents say?
Verse 3. Then his father and his mother said unto him, Is there never a woman among the daughters of thy brethren? Or among all my people that thou goest to take a wife of the uncircumcised Philistines?
He said uncircumcised. Just to show you how nasty they was. Right. And what the mother and the father did, listen, and this is just me drawing an inference from what I read.
Yeah.
But this seems to be not his first time asking for a situation like this.
At the rodeo.
Right.
Because what did they say? Like,
Is there never?
Is there never? Never ever?
Is there,
Like,
is there never a woman among the daughters of thy brethren, or among all my people, that thou goest to take a wife of the uncircumcised Philistine?
I love Chief Booz. Chief Booz is the ultimate hype man. Y'all remember at the dinner dance? People trying to relax at the dinner dance? And he don't want nobody to relax. Just finish eating, he want everybody dancing.
Calling people out. That's right.
What you gonna do, Rishon? Stare in her eyes all night? Is that really necessary? Ultimate hype man. He just want everybody to have a good time. He said to me, hey, it was Zaccar, I think Tetsi wanna dance. I told him, let her go dance. I'm not stopping her from dancing. Have a good time.
Hallelujah.
Is there never a woman of the daughters of your brethren? Like, is there not like a Danite girl?
Right.
A Judite girl?
Right.
A Levite girl? Some kind of light Israelite girl?
Right.
That you gotta go and take a wife from these nasty, uncircumcised, greasy Philistines
That we at war with.
that we at war with,
Yeah.
that got us under subjugation.
Right.
As we continue in the portion, you're gonna see how nasty these people were.
Right.
So, but what's his response?
And Shimshon said unto his father, get her for me, for she pleaseth me well.
You see how he sounded like a giant when he said that? Like Shimshon was some type of giant? Get her for me. He ain't hear none of the wisdom that his mother and his father said.
She look nice.
I could see him saying, Can't Emma, Abba, can I talk to you for a minute?
Right.
And you going on the side.
Right.
Well, look at her though, Abba.
Right.
You know she look good, Abba.
She do look good, son.
Look at the car, yo, Abba. Abba, I'm just saying, Abba. Yeah, ain't nothing she say, nothing they say. Just get her for me to wife. Come on.
Teach us.
Verse 4. But his father and his mother.
Uncircumcised. I can't say that. Come on, let's go.
Verse 4. But his father and his mother knew not that it was of Yahweh.
Right.
For he sought an occasion. But his father and his mother knew not that it was of Yahweh.
Right.
For he sought an occasion against the Philistines.
Right.
Now at that time the Philistines had rule over Yisrael.
Right. So what happened was the part that a lot of times when we arguing and we fighting and I want this and all that different things that we do,
Yes. Exactly.
we don't think about God.
Yes.
And we don't think about the parole that God is playing in all of this.
Right.
And how God is orchestrating all of these different things.
Right.
The Most High God wanted him to like foreign. He put it in him to like foreign women. Knowing foreign women ain't never did us no good.
Uh-huh.
Kobe.
Right. Right.
OJ.
Right.
Jack Johnson.
Come on.
Can y'all throw some? I know you can. Give me some. Foreign women ain't never been no good for us.
Right.
But God, Tristan Thompson,
Kardashians.
all of the Kardashians. All of them. But the thing, he put it in him to be like that because God sought an occasion to set this. Look, Shimshon. Ooh, this dude was a wild man.
Wow.
Yeah.
We can read about it.
Yeah.
Listen, he did what he wanted to do. He said what he wanted to say, when he wanted to say it and do it. And God picked. All of the judges was a little different. Yiftach was kind of somewhat like this. But God picked a guy because the Philistines was a nasty, unscrupulous group of people.
Yes, sir. That's the right.
So God picked this guy
Yeah.
to send him out and let the Philistines take him off,
Right.
so that he could destroy them.
Right.
And he picked the right one.
The party started. Right.
I'm a proud Danite right now.
Right.
Come on.
Verse 5. Then went Shimshon down and his father and his mother to Timnah, and came to the vineyards of Timnah. And behold, a young lion roared against him, and the spirit of Yahweh came mightily upon him, and he ran him as one would rend a kid.
Listen, lion come roaring, jumping out.
Right.
Got this. Like he said, like he killed a kid, like he rent a kid, like a kid of the goat. Like a kid of the goat for the most part is harmless.
Yeah.
It's harmless. I mean, if he don't kind of get you with the, actually the kid don't have the on yet, so he just ripped it apart just like that. Left it there. This dude, listen, this dude was an animal. Love this guy. Come on.
But he told not his father or his mother what he had done. Verse 7. And he went down and talked with the woman, and she pleased Shimshon well. And after a while he returned to take her, and he turned aside to see the carcass of the lion.
But you see what they did? They talked.
Right.
They just go jumping and they talk. Because what do we learn from this? In relationships and all those different things, listen, you gotta have communication. Listen, I'm gonna tell y'all a secret. As cute as men and women are, they don't stay that way.
Right.
So you might see, I mean, she fine. There's made wine. Listen, give her a little bit of
Get into
time.
a bad argument.
Give him a little bit of time.
Yeah.
Move in with somebody, because that's the ultimate test.
Right.
Once y'all start to live together, how y'all gonna deal when that first argument comes? Do y'all really like each other, or y'all just, because that's what's actually gonna be the test. But they talk. Come on.
It says, and behold, there was a swarm of bees in the body of the lion, and honey. Verse 9, and he scraped it out into his hands, and went on, eating as he went. And he came to his father and mother, and gave unto them, and they did eat. But he told them not that he had scraped the honey out of the body of the lion.
Obviously, with everything that Shimshon did have, that he ain't know much about Torah.
Right.
I mean, he just scraped that's just nasty.
Yeah.
I mean, like, who goes into a carcass of an animal and starts scraping? Y'all seen that episode of Seinfeld? When George had dropped the half a thing in the garbage, and then he picked it up, and as he picked it up to bite it, they saw him?
That's nasty.
I'm saying, like, really, bro? This is not one of the prouder moments right now, but you gotta take with the good at the day.
That's right. That's
Come
right.
on.
Verse 10. And his father went down unto the woman, and Shimshon made there a feast, for so used the young men to do.
What?
For so used the young men to do.
So they don't just go jump in the sack?
Right.
They don't just go do that. So people actually like make announcements. This is my Isha, like pregnant. You know what I'm saying? Like it says that's what the young men used to do. And they had a feast over it. They get some eats, they get some drinks. We have a joyous occasion. This is a couple of times you see in our history or in the history of Eastern people that, listen, people ain't just jumping the sack.
Right.
They had a banquet here in the time of Yaakov. They had a banquet. They had a feast. Let everybody know. It's a proud occasion. Come on.
Verse 11. And it came to pass when they saw him that they brought 30 companions to be with him. And Shimshon said unto them, let me now put forth a riddle unto you. If ye can declare it me within the 7 days of the feast, and find it out, then I will give you 30 linen garments and 30 changes of raiment. But if ye cannot declare it me, then shall ye give me 30 linen garments and 30 changes of raiment. And they said unto him, put forth thy riddle, that we may hear it.
So we got a deal.
We got a deal.
Okay.
And he said unto them, Out of the eater came forth food, and out of the storm came forth sweetness. And they could not in 3 days declare the riddle. And it came to pass.
So now, hold on. So now in 3 days, they having problems.
Right.
Now, I know for us who have closets full of clothes and closets full of shoes, 30 changes of raiment don't seem like a lot. But back in those days,
that's a lot.
30 changes of clothes was like, that's a lot of clothes. I mean, that's like, you could wear clothes for like the whole month.
Yes, sir.
And not wear the same thing twice. So this is a big deal. So now they scrounge when they trying to figure it out. After 3 days, they can't figure. You know, they starting to be under pressure. You know, and this is to show you how pressure starts to get to you. Because the more pressure starts to get to you, then you start to lose focus on what you actually supposed to be doing, because you really start to think about how much time you have left before the deadline. You know, I had they have this thing where they send me like riddles every day. So they sent me a riddle. I looked at it. Listen, I just couldn't figure this thing out. I just could not figure this thing out. So what I did was, I sent it to Tyre. See if he can figure it out. I spent a long time on this. Like 3-4 minutes later, he's texting me back. And he was in school. So we still need to figure out how he was texting in school, but that's besides the point. He sent me back the answer. And when I read it, I was like, oh yeah, that makes sense. But
did he Google?
That's what I asked him. I didn't even ask him. I told him, I said, you Googled this, didn't you? Nah, I ain't Google it, I just got it.
That's good.
Sometimes, you know, it's pretty good. The other 2 people I sent it to ain't really respond yet, but
they still haven't responded.
Yeah, they ain't respond yet. I think they try to ignore it. You know how people ignoring your texts when they respond to texts afterwards, but they refuse to respond to that one.
Right.
So I think they're ignoring me, but that's okay. Come on.
Verse 15. And it came to pass on the 7th day that they said unto Shimshon's wife, entice thy husband.
Listen. Come on.
Entice thy husband, that he may declare unto us the riddle, lest we burn thee and thy father's house with fire.
We do not want to pay him these 30 changes of clothes.
He's not going to embarrass us.
He is right. And that's more so what it was. Right. Because he would have had to give up 30 pairs, but the 30 people all really had to give up 1 pair. So, but it was just the thing of it all where they was like, we can't lose to this guy. So, and that's what happened. So now they go and they start taking like these gangster type tactics. Look, go talk to your husband, find out this riddle, and get us the answer, because if you don't get us the answer, listen, we're gonna burn your house down right on you and your father.
Have you called us hither to impoverish us?
Right. And then, so now what they saying is this, because what they saying is like, this is your feast. You called us here, and now all of a sudden you called us to this feast. Now all of a sudden he has this riddle that he put out, can't nobody solve. Was you a part of this?
Yeah.
Like you trying to get us right now? So that's what they asked him. And just so you know, what happened? Come on.
Verse 16. And Shimshon's wife wept before him and said, thou hast hate me and loveth me not. Thou hast put forth a riddle unto the children of my people, and wilt thou not tell it me? And he said unto her,
Hold on. That was pretty good.
You gotta think she was crying or something.
She was crying. That was fun. Nah, but yo, you know what the crazy part about this is? Just like, you know what this remind me of? This remind me of this whole Bill Cosby thing.
Right.
Because now, whatever happened between Bill Cosby and the lady, I'm not gonna get into it. I don't know. Only they know. Whatever happened. But whatever happened, there was an agreement. And money was exchanged where they said to her, he said, I will speak at this deposition. They had an agreement, and the agreement was that if we give you this money, then you leave these charges alone, and we speak no more of this issue. That was the agreement. So, yeah, she took the money. Yeah, she took the money. So she took the money, and now, how many years it's been? 10 years? Because I know it's right short of the statute.
Right.
So it's like 10 years.
It was like 2 months short of the statute of limitation.
2 months short of the 10-year or 12-year statute of limitation. Now all of a sudden, she wants to talk about it, and it's coming out, and charges are being brought by the state based on the testimony that he gave in a deposition, which was, so now his lawyer responded, and his lawyer said, but listen, y'all can't bring these charges out. This deposition was sealed, right? And she took money to solidify that this whole thing was sealed. How y'all now gonna start to come all of this? Is she giving the money back? I mean, we had a deal on this. And that's kind of what's happening here, just to let you know, when people are out to get you, they will do whatever it takes. Right. So they went to him and his foreign wife, and told his foreign wife, listen, we will get you, we'll get your father, we're gonna burn this whole house down. Right. Now, what do the foreign wives do? Just like all foreign wives do with us, they don't come to us talking about, listen, we got a problem, can you handle this? Because obviously Shimshon could have handled it his own way, but she's siding with who? Her people. Yes. She's siding with her people. And she come crying to her husband talking about, how you did a cheap move?
And love me not, thou hast put forth a riddle unto the children of my people. And wilt thou not tell it me?
I can't front. If it was me, if she was crying like that, I probably would have just told her to. I'd have just told her to. Go ahead.
And he said unto her, behold, I have not told it my father nor my mother. And shall I tell thee?
I didn't even tell my Abba or Ema. What tell you for?
Yeah.
What?
17. And she wept before him 7 days, while their feast lasted. And it came to pass on the 7th day.
Now, hold on, because I want to talk about.
Go ahead, my bad.
Now, I gotta talk about that for you. That's gonna take some time. So, listen, from the 3rd day when they came to her, the 4th day she crying. What's for dinner? Something burnt like my father's house. If you don't tell me the answer to this riddle, baby, I love you. If you love me, you'll tell me all that. Every day. 4th day, 5th day, 6th day, 7th day. She crying every day.
Right. Lay him down.
And like most men, he wore down. Right. But, go ahead.
It says that he told her because she pressed him sore. And she told the riddle to the children of her people.
Just like they always do.
Right.
Charles Barkley didn't learn.
Right.
James Brown didn't learn.
Right.
We never learn. If we would have just learned from Shimshon, Kobe could have still been great.
Right.
He wouldn't have told on Shaq. And everybody would have still been, I mean, I'm just saying. Lakers probably won a couple more.
Right. Kanye wouldn't have been crazy.
Kanye, well, he would have been. I think Kanye would have been crazy. But, you know, and so, warm down. So finally she told him, and he told her, and she goes running to tell her people. Listen. Tiger Woods.
He
forget about Tiger Woods.
He walking around in a daze.
Where you coming from, Jupiter? That bugged me out. When they showed it, at first they said he was drunk. When the first report I heard, he was drunk. And so they only showed that part. And so what they said to him, they was like, so where you coming from? And he said, Jupiter. And so I'm like, oh man, Tiger been drinking too much, man. Then I found out later on, the cops was in Jupiter, Florida.
Right.
So when he said, I'm coming from Jupiter, he didn't mean a planet. He just meant somewhere in the town. But they didn't do that on the news. On the news, they just said Jupiter. And then they went to the same thing. Maybe Tiger Woods, everybody, I mean, that's as if Tiger Woods ain't stuff or not.
Right.
But anyway, come on.
Verse 18.
Verse 18.
And the men of the city said unto him on the seventh day. Hold on. We missed the part. We did?
Yeah. And you know what it is? I realized that the problem is that
she pressed him so.
No. Not even that. That book, this English book, don't read like the Hebrew book reads.
Oh, okay.
Let me just find my place. Because I got to read from how the translation of the Hebrew book is, because this is important. Verse 18.
Right.
And the men of the city said to him on the seventh day, before the sun went down. That's what it said. On the seventh day, before the sun went down.
That's what this book says too.
And they had
I missed that. I said it here.
No, I was about ready to read it.
Oh, okay, sorry.
Verse 18.
Yeah.
And the men of the city said unto him on the seventh day before the sun went down.
On the seventh day, before the sun went down.
Right.
If you go to the book of Nehemiah 13:19, it'll tell you that as it started to get dark, before the Shabbat came in. So now, if the day is going, if the end of the day is coming as the sun is going down, and the next day starts when the day is coming in, when the day starts?
Sundown.
After sundown.
How can the day start? Like, how can the day start in the morning?
That's right.
I'm saying. It says at the end of the seventh day, as the sun is going down.
Yes, sir.
Before the sun going down. Let's just take that in. I know I'm not gonna do it, because I know what you want to do. So I'm not gonna say where the other concepts came from right now. But what I am gonna say is anywhere in any historical reference that you read, Israelites always kept the day from evening to evening. Every historical reference that you read. If you read about the rabbis, whether you want to say the rabbis were black or white, they kept it evening to evening. This new concept about the day starting in the day is not consistent.
Don't drop the bomb yet.
I'm not. I'm gonna just say, okay, all right. Cause you see, all right. You're trying to restrain me now. So I'm gonna just say, can you just read verse 18 again? So what you been yapping at? Because all day he's been telling me about how I've been reading with some inflections. Now I'm reading with some inflections.
Look, he right there.
Now I'm reading with some inflections. Because it say at the end of the day as the sun was going down. Which means that once the sun goes down, the day is over. So what happens when the day is over? New day starts. That makes sense? Yes. Keep it. I'm glad it makes sense.
Says, verse 18, and the men of the city said unto him on the seventh day before the sun went down, what is sweeter than honey, and what is stronger than a lion? And he said unto them, if ye had not plowed with my heifer, ye had not found out my riddle.
Listen, he knew. Because he knew he ain't tell nobody. And they ain't have,
all of a sudden y'all know.
He knew he ain't tell nobody, and they ain't have Google back then.
Right.
So now, what happened is, she cried and cried and cried. He told her. All of a sudden they know. So that's how he responded. If you wouldn't have plowed with my heifer, meaning if you wouldn't have been having these long,
meddling in my business
conversations with my Isha, you wouldn't have found out. You wouldn't have found out my business.
Right.
Put it my way. If you
They were counseling her. They
Right.
told her, if you don't do this, what'll happen?
You right. You right. You right.
If they wasn't counseling his wife,
That's right.
they wouldn't have found out his river. That's what he said. Listen, I'm gonna tell you, that's not to say, you know, I realize what happens is like men and women think different.
Sure.
And we supposed to, because y'all women and we men. That's okay. But what happens is other men know how they would feel if somebody was having these long types of conversations with their wife.
Yeah.
Other men would know how that felt.
Yeah.
So if you know how that feel, then you shouldn't be doing that here. And you see, he took great offense to it, that he was like, listen. And with him, it wasn't about the 30 changes of clothes. And as we go, you're gonna see why. It wasn't about that.
No.
It was about the fact that you all up in my house, having some man in my house, meddling in my isha, talking to my wife, counseling my wife, and now you all in my business. And that's what bothered me. Come on.
Verse 19, and the spirit of Yahweh came mightily upon him, and he went down to Ashkelon, and smote 30 men of them, and took their spoil, and gave the changes of raiment unto them that declared the riddle. And his anger was kindled, and he went up to his father's house.
Right.
But Shimshon's wife was given to his...
Don't give that part away.
All right.
My bad.
So he got upset. I'm telling you, I love this guy. He got upset. Y'all want 30 changes of clothes?
No problem.
No problem. No problem. He went and found 30 other Philistines, roughed up them 30 other Philistines, took their clothes, and here you got 30 changes of clothes.
Take your stuff.
Take your stuff.
Just the way y'all like it.
Still upset. But then what happened?
Says, but Shimshon's wife was given to his companion, whom he had for his friend.
Wow.
Let me tell y'all, I gotta explain some certain types of rules. I gotta explain some certain type of rules to my young brothers.
Yeah, come on.
Listen, when I was younger, before I came into, you heard him teach us, before I even came in knowledge of self, when I was younger, when I didn't know anything about God, I knew him for a lot of years. Long time. When he was walking around with a purple coat and a hoodie and a blow pop. Listen. Listen.
Was it a purple blow pop?
Oh no. But what I'm gonna say, what I am gonna say is, listen, if whatever girlfriend he had, she would have never been my girlfriend. Because when you friends don't do that. As soon as y'all friends become off limits.
Right.
I mean, girls become off limits when y'all friends.
Real friends.
Real friends don't do that. And much less a wife. How you give his wife away? I mean, this is his wife. And how she go and how you are feeling. See, that's what happened when you have foreign friends.
Yes.
Because his Philistine friend, I'm making the case that this is a Philistine. I sure hope it was a Philistine. I sure hope an Israelite would have did
There
this.
wasn't another Danite?
I definitely hope another Danite would have did this. I hope a Danite would have did this.
Definitely a Philistine.
Definitely Philistine. I agree with you, Maury.
Duh.
But what I'm saying is, we don't do that. And if y'all friends and you know that's his wife, how you take her?
That quick.
So I'm telling you, they uncircumcised and they nasty. Uncircumcised and nasty. Come on, let's keep going.
Shimshon is denied his wife, chapter 15. But it came to pass after a while, in the time of wheat harvest, that Shimshon visited his wife with a kid.
So now, what obviously happened was, he went
For 6 months.
He was angry. I was thinking to say that. I was really thinking to say that. I was really thinking to say it. I'm trying to be nice here. Trying to be nice. Right. So what happened was when he got angry after they solved the riddle,
Right.
he obviously he got upset and he left. So that was still his wife, and he was still under the impression that that was still his wife. He ain't giving no divorce or nothing like that, but he just got up and he left. He went, he got those 30 changes of clothes, he came, he settled his bet, and then he went back up to his father's house. And he left. So, like most men do, after they done stormed off, they come back with candy
Flowers.
and flowers, and come back and be like, look,
Sorry.
I was upset. I'm sorry. Only difference is he came back, it wasn't no candy, and it wasn't no flowers, so he came back with a goat. So now he walking, I know, but I'm just saying, just the thought of this big dude walking with a goat talking about, I'm sorry, for 2004. I'm sorry. You know what I'm saying? Trying to give it a goat. You know what I'm saying? So you come in with a goat trying to apologize. Come on.
It reads, and he said, I will go into my wife into the chamber.
So now, this is I'm telling you, this. So it's like, he's like this. Like, this is literally what happened. He went right into the house with the goat. Like, you know, Shim. I'm gonna go into the chamber with the wife, with the goat. And so now what happened?
Then it says, but her father would not suffer him to go in.
No, you don't understand. Come on.
Verse 2. And her father said, I verily thought that thou hast utterly hated her, therefore I gave her to thy companion. Now the father's like, I thought you wasn't coming back. I thought you hated her. You know what I'm saying? So I gave it to your friend. Nasty. But. And it reads, is not her younger sister fairer than she?
But she got a sister.
Take her, I pray thee.
Don't she look better?
Right.
Don't she look better than look, take the sister.
Right.
I pray you. The father just didn't want no problems.
Right.
Because they saw what Shimshon was doing all over the place. They knew what he was capable of. He just like, look, just take the whatever you're gonna do, just whatever. Just don't hurt nobody.
Right.
Come on.
Take her, I pray thee, instead of her. And Shimshon said unto them, this time shall I be This time shall I be quits with the Philistines when I do them a mischief. And Shimshon went and caught 300 foxes and took torches.
Hold on. Listen.
Did them dirty twice.
Listen. What I'm saying is that the quickest way to make an enemy is to be messing with somebody's wife.
That's right.
That's the quickest way. Proverbs tell you about it. Proverbs tell you about it all the time. It said, his anger will not be assuaged though you give many gifts. Because, listen, look, if you know what a man go through for his wife, I mean, you know. And so, my man, listen, like, unfortunately, in these days and times, there just seems to be no sanctity of marriage no more. Because, like men and wives and snakes and all, I mean, people just, it's like, I remember Aisha telling me the other day, well, she told me this a while ago. She was like, some dude was trying to talk to her. He ain't had no job. He ain't have nothing. And he was trying to talk to her, like for real, trying to talk to her. And so she told me, she said, so I told him, listen, no thank you, I'm not interested, I'm married. And my man was like, but are you happy? I mean, like serious? Like, I'm married wasn't good enough? You know, people have no sanctity of marriage anymore. And, you know, so now, I bring it back to this because I don't believe in taking vengeance because vengeance belongs to the Most High God. That's what he said. But I can guarantee you that if people received the consequences of their actions and the hurt that they brought against other people, then certain things will stop.
Yeah.
And so now, this wasn't one of those things where Samson was like, oh, you took my wife, no problem, it's all good. Come on. Actually, you read this part. It said, and Samson's response was, this time I will be quick when I do the mischief. Right. Meaning, nah. This ain't going down like this. I'm about to go and I'm about to deal with this. Nobody, you're not taking my wife. You're not doing this. And so again, and all of this was orchestrated by the Most High, where he let this guy, and now here you go. Come on, what did he do?
Verse 4. And Samson went and caught 300 foxes and took torches and turned tail to tail and put a torch in the midst between every two tails. And when he had set the torches on fire, he let them go into the standing corn of the Philistines and burnt up both the shocks and the standing corn and also the olive yards.
Right. So now, this is, look, Samson, listen. Samson was that dude. Right. You know how it is to catch a fox. Like catching a fox is like almost impossible. They call him a sly fox for a reason. You're not catching a fox.
And he's a wild animal.
He caught 30. 300. Did I miss that? Y'all ain't let me finish. He caught 30 times 10. You know what I'm saying?
You're right.
He caught 300 foxes and tied them tail to tail and set torches on the tail and set them loose in the field. So what you have is, you have two foxes bouncing back and forth and they going through the whole cornfield, burning everything down.
Right.
Don't sound like no love of God to me.
No.
I'm just telling you, all that because they took his wife. Right. And I'm sure he found out the rest of the set of the circumstances about how she found out the riddle, how they found out the riddle. No, well, he actually knew that. But took the foxes together, sent them, burned down the whole field. That dude was gangster. That dude was gangster. Come on.
Verse 6. Then the Philistines said, who have done this? And they said, Samson, the son-in-law of the Timnite, because he have taken his wife and given her to his companion.
But they ain't his son-in-law no more, because this wife, she ain't married to him no more. But where you always got those, who did it? Samson did it. And his father-in-law lived over there on 32nd and Broadway, and he did it because of this reason. Because obviously those people came through. And this is one of the things one of the points that I want to make. See, like in these days and times, people, this country, and as based on this whole Christianity, they like to make us feel as if we're wrong if we get upset when it comes to certain nasty things. Right. They try to make us seem like we're wrong when we want to act out and lash out against certain things that we know ain't right. Just grave injustices that we know ain't right. And they want to make us seem like we wrong for that. Yet, every other country in the world acts just like that. Right. Remember when they had that political fallout back with I think it was the first Bush. And all of a sudden, everybody was friends and they had that hunting trip. And Dick Cheney had, and that guy came out shot. Bush. That's what I meant. Bush, second Bush. And my man came out shot in the face. And nobody knew nothing about nothing. Right. Listen, we are the only people that are made to believe that we're wrong for lashing out and standing up against things that's wrong. So now, Samson, he went and he burnt the whole field. Right. Now, come on. Now what happened?
Verse 6. Then the Philistines said, who have done this? Right. And they said, Samson, the son-in-law of the Timnite, because he had taken his wife and given her to his companion. And the Philistines came up and burnt her and her father with fire.
Everybody do it. Right. And everybody do it. And now, just think about it. The Philistines knew they was the one that caused this. They knew they was the one that caused it when they threatened her the first time to make her give up the information. They knew they was wrong. And then they came and they burned the house down anyway.
Eliminate the problem.
They couldn't get him, so they took it out on her. They own people. Just to show you how nasty and uncircumcised they are. Let's move, keep moving.
Verse 7. And Shimshon said unto them, if ye do after this manner, surely I'll be avenged of you, and after that I will cease. And he smote them hip and thigh with a great slaughter.
Listen, this is right up his alley.
Right. Tit for tat.
And when I tell you that the Most High, when the Most High God says things like, he'll repay you to your face, and he'll send, like he said, and with the froward, I will show myself froward. When he said, with the merciful, I'll show myself merciful. And the just, I'll show myself just. And with the froward, I'll show myself froward. Why? Because that's the only thing that they understand. So what he did was he sent Shimshon, who was right up their alley. You see what they did? They burnt the house down. He said, okay, here I am. And now he comes back, and man, when I tell you he gave the Philistines fever for years, he gave the Philistines fever for years. Come on.
And it says, them hip and thigh with a great slaughter, and he went down and dwelt in the cleft of the rock of Etham. Verse 9. Then the Philistines went up.
Oh, I figured he was going to leave after this. Go ahead.
Who's that?
Ain't that, you know, once you read it, you're going to know who it is.
All right,
man.
verse 9.
Ain't this Israel?
Then the Philistines went up and pitched in Yehudah and spread themselves against Lehi. And the man of Yehudah said, why are ye come up against us?
So now, hold on. So you got to understand what's happening here.
Uh-huh.
You got to understand what's happening here.
Yes, sir.
So Don had two portions. Don had the portion that was like right on the left of Yehudah, right by the water, right by the Mediterranean. That was one portion that they had. And then, as you're going to read about next week in the book of with Micah, that they also had a portion in the north. So now, the Danites dwell right next to the Judites. So now the Philistines, who is in control of everybody, they just can't get the Shimshon. They can't find them. They just don't really want no parts of Shimshon, because even though they talk like they want to find them, they don't really want to find them because they can't do nothing with them. So they go to the Judites, and they put pressure on the Judites. And so now the Judites are like, but why y'all coming over here bothering us? We didn't do anything. Keep reading.
And they said, to bind Shimshon are we come up, to do to him as he have done to us. Verse 11. Then 3,000 men of Yehudah.
Listen, oh, come on, man. Y'all see what's happening? So now the Philistines tell them, look, we come to get Shimshon, because Shimshon is causing a lot of problems over there, and the more problems that he make for us, the more problems we gonna make for y'all. So what did Judites do? I know what they did.
What they did?
They stood up and they said, listen, we are not gonna let you take our brother. We will not do that. We will not allow this to happen. We will stand here like men, and you won't break this line if you think you're gonna get Shimshon. Read that part.
Verse 11. Then 3,000 men of Yehudah went down to the cleft of the rock
3,000 dudes
of Etam, and said to Shimshon, knowest thou not that the Philistines are rulers over us? What then is this that thou hast done unto us? And he said unto them,
hold on. Go ahead.
And he said unto them, as they did unto me, so have I done unto them.
Right.
And they said unto him, but we are come down to bind thee, that we may deliver thee into the hand of the Philistines.
Listen, I'm gonna be honest with you. What you just read don't sound like what I just said. I'm just saying. So now, they sent 3,000.
I'm reading what's in the black and white.
I got you.
I'm not reading between the lines.
I got you. Listen, they sent 3,000
For one man.
dudes for one man. Tell me God ain't in charge.
Right.
Tell me God ain't king. Because God is orchestrating all of this. And listen, and if you notice, those 3,000 dudes still didn't come talking about, yo, you going with us. We had enough of this. You ain't do that. Because they knew who they were dealing with. So they was like, listen, bro. Shem, can I call you Shem? Bro, you know that the Philistines is over us, man.
Why did you do it?
Why you doing this? Why, listen, why can't you just be regular? Why you gotta be so extra? And Shimshon's response is, as they did to me, that's what I'm gonna do to them. And you know, that all 3,000 of them was like, you know they had a plan when they was going down there, right? If he don't come, we gonna have to take him by force and this and that. So you gonna go grab him first. No, you gonna go grab him first. No, you gonna go grab him.
We go together.
Come on.
And Shimshon said unto them, swear unto me that you will not fall upon me yourselves.
Right. So I
even though they came with him with negativity, Shimshon responded back to them with positivity.
Because y'all gonna get hurt.
Shimshon said, look, you know what? I understand the position the Judites is in right now. They're a little shook up from these Philistines.
Right.
It's all right. Just don't try nothing silly. I'm gonna let you take me in. Just don't do nothing to me. Don't put your hands on me. Don't do nothing, and I'm gonna let you take me in. 3,000 dudes.
Yeah.
Come on.
And they spoke unto him, saying, no, but we will bind thee fast and deliver thee into their hand.
Wow.
But surely we will not kill thee, Shimshon.
No, you're right, all right, bro, you're right. We won't do any, but we can't just let you go walking willy-nilly out there, because then they're gonna think we set them up. We gotta bind you, so please let us bind you. And so Shimshon was like, all right.
And they bound him with 2 new ropes and brought him up from the rock.
This is a low moment in Judah history, right here. I gotta tell you.
Verse 14.
But it's okay. We forgive. We forgive.
Verse 14. When he came unto Lehi, the Philistines shouted as they met him.
Right.
And the spirit of Jehovah.
Right. Because that's the way it always happened.
Right.
They get black people to kill black people.
Right.
So that's what they did. That's what they did with Malcolm X. That's what you get your hand out. That's what they do. They can't infiltrate us, so they get the weaker one of us. I mean, this is not no shot at Judah right now. This is just saying, like, generally, that's what they do, because we don't stand together. And because we don't stand firm, and because we don't stand strong, they can get and they can separate us, and that's exactly what they did. So now you got 3,000 Judites walking with Shimshon. I'm trying to imagine like what Shimshon really looked like. I think he was probably a little tall. I mean, we know about the 7 locks. Probably like that rugged, kind of handsome kind of look. You know what I'm saying? Like most of us Danites have. You know what I'm saying? You know, just that rugged, just like women. Most women probably think, man, I don't know whether to run from him or kiss him. You know what I'm saying? You know, that kind of thing. But anyway, that's the end of it. You know what I'm saying? So that he's coming walking down with big dude, and he probably had his shirt halfway ripped just to make it look good. So her shirt was probably halfway ripped off to make it seem like he put up a fight. And we got the 3,000 Judites bringing them, and you got the Philistines screaming, yeah, I knew he was a chump. That's you lucky they got to you before we did, and all that, and they screaming, and everybody jumping up and they dancing, talking reckless, all that. Come on.
And it reads, and the spirit of Jehovah came mightily upon him,
mightily.
and the ropes that were upon his arm became as flax that was burned with fire, and his bands dropped from off his hands.
Shimshon was probably mad big, like mad brolic, like sun's out, guns out. You know what I'm saying? And so as soon as they started coming and he got close, listen, he was like this. And listen, everything just started falling off, because it's all a plan of God.
Right.
Everything just started popping off.
Right.
Go ahead.
Verse 15, and he found a new jawbone of an ass, and put forth his hand, and took it.
Go ahead, read
and smote 1,000 men therewith. And Shimshon said, with the jawbone of an ass, heaps upon heaps, with the jawbone of an ass, have I smitten 1,000 men.
Listen, come on, keep reading.
Verse 17. And it came to pass when he had made an end of speaking, that he cast away the jawbone out of his hand. And that place was called Ramath Lehi. And he was sore.
Hold on. Right. So you got a picture what happened here now. So now he coming by, the Philistines is running because everybody running now that he's bound up in the ropes and the Judites is there. Now everybody running because they want to get a chance at a smack or a cheap shot, all that. So everybody running, they're ready, run up on him. And then like the ropes just pop and he's just like, and looking, grabbed it. And then just start everybody, Philistines, bloods and body everywhere, all that. 1,000 people. Like he dropped the mic like he was Jay-Z or something. Just out of here. Just walked off. Bloodshed and mayhem everywhere. Can y'all see the movie? Can y'all see the movie? Y'all gotta see it with a black man though.
Yeah.
Like George Clooney can't play this. You know what I'm saying? George, who? No, he can't play that either. Not him. Not him. Nah. You need like, I don't know.
Denzel too old. He too old.
Nah, he too pretty. He ain't really done.
Terry Crews?
Terry Crews. Nah, he too silly. That's what he is, but he's silly. Debo. No. Shimshon wasn't cross-eyed. Man. No. You almost got me. The Rock too light.
It just Mr. T.
The Rock.
Too cute.
I can see Mr. T.
Mr. T too old. You mean Mr. T in his prime?
Who? Whoever they just said. I
know they talking about.
He brown? I think Shimshon was kind of like brownish. I picture. I don't look. I don't see him being light skinned. You think Wesley? Nah, he's still in jail. He ain't pay his taxes. He won't pay taxes.
He's out of jail, man. He's been out of jail. We'll figure that out.
We'll figure it out. Come on.
Luke Cage.
Verse 18.
Luke Cage.
Oh, you gotta watch that. Verse 18. And he was sore athirst and called on Jehovah and said, Thou hast given this great deliverance by the hand of thy servant, and now shall I die for thirst and fall into the hand of the uncircumcised? But God cleaved the hollow place that is in Lehi, and there came water thereout.
So now he prayed to the Most High, and he's like, look, come on, Most High.
Don't let me go out like this.
Come on, like Willie Lumber. Come on. Listen, you created this great victory. Come on, don't let me go out like this. Come on.
And when he had drunk,
we doing good.
His spirit came back and he revived. Wherefore the name thereof was called En-Ak-Kori, which is in Lehi unto this day. And he judged Yisrael in the days of the Philistines 20 years.
He gave Philistines fever. Come on.
Ramath Lehi means the hill of the jawbone, and the last En-Ak-Kori means the spring of him that called. Chapter 16, verse 1. And Shimshon went to Gaza and saw there a harlot and went in unto her. And that's the type of guy he was.
Listen.
And it was
Anybody
told.
under 13 should probably lead a room now.
Right there.
Man. He like women.
Verse 2.
Like women.
Gave up on
the Philistines.
And it was told the Gazites, saying, Shimshon is come hither. And they compassed him in and lay in wait for him all night in the gate of the city.
Right. So I think this is an appropriate time for me to read this meme that was sent to me. So a lady sends an email. She makes a post and she says, man, buying a man a gift is so difficult. What do they even like?
Another one.
And this lady said, they like other women. That's Shimshon.
All right.
Like other women. That would have been a beautiful gift for him. Come on.
And it was told the Gazites, saying, Shimshon is come hither. And they compassed the men and lay in wait for him all night in the gate of the city, and were quiet all the night, saying, Let be till morning light, then we will kill him. And Shimshon laid till midday, and arose at midnight, and laid hold of the doors of the gate of the city, and the 2 posts, and plucked them up, and bar and all, and put them upon his shoulders, and carried them up to the top of the mountain that is before Hebron.
This dude is amazing.
Right.
Yo, so they saw him come in, and they saw him in the house, so they like, you know what? We gonna wait. And when he leave in early morning, because what most people do is most people, whenever they somewhere, you don't really travel at night. Too many different things, bad things can happen at night. So they said, we're gonna wait for him in the morning, and in the morning, we're gonna get him. They lock the gates so that he can't leave. They're gonna wait for him in the morning, and then we're gonna get him. This guy gets up and leaves in the middle of the night. Like, I mean, nobody do that.
With the gates.
Nobody do that. Walks out, they still waiting for him. He sees the gates are locked, and this dude is like,
I see what.
no disrespect, but something tells me that he not really the sharpest marble in
Sharpest knife.
sharpest knife in the drawer.
In the drawer.
So he goes and he looks at it for a minute.
I'm looking for a sharp marble.
He's saying, and he looks. The gates probably wasn't even locked. They probably was just closed with the latch, and he was just like,
Really?
It's blowing me up.
and now you see this big, dark-skinned, brown, caramel, rugged, handsome-looking dude walking up the hill with some big city gates.
A danite.
Teach you right, bro.
Don't forget a danite.
I wasn't gonna say that at this point. I figured I said it enough. But I'm just saying, like, this is just like just walking the gates of the city on his shoulders. Come on.
Verse 6. And Delilah said to Shimshon.
Wait,
Oh no, hold on. Verse 4, my bad. And it came to pass afterward that he loved a woman in the valley of Shoret,
again,
whose name was Delilah.
young man, I'm gonna tell you, man. Listen, if you fall in love like 50 times in 1 year,
Something wrong with you.
that ain't really love. You know what I'm saying? Just take my word for it. You can't fall in love with like everybody.
Right.
You can't fall in love with everybody because you'll do yourself a disservice if you fall in love with everybody. I mean, same thing with women, but we're not talking about women right now. We're talking about Shimshon. So I'm saying you can't. Trust me. Take my word for it. You can't. And you're gonna see right here that you can't. Come on.
Verse 5. And the lords of the Philistines came up unto her, and said unto her, Entice him, and see wherein his great strength lieth, and by what means we may prevail against him, that we may bind him to afflict him. And we will give thee every one of us 1,100 pieces of silver. Verse 6. And Delilah said to Shimshon, Tell me, I pray thee.
Hold on.
Man.
Listen.
Not again.
So
Girls still do that.
it said that he loved her.
He loved it.
Again. It ain't say she loved him.
That's right.
But I'm gonna tell you, listen, because this happened. You, as a guy, might think you so into this girl, and she might even act like she into you. She might cook. She might braid your hair. She might, talk to you in like the sweetest voice. She might like hold your hand and like, she might do all that.
It's all a game.
And I'm just saying.
A desire is not unto you.
Not unto you. And so what happens is you'll get caught up thinking you in love and she ain't. And the worst thing in the world is when a guy is in love and she ain't.
Got that right.
is bad. Come on. Come on.
Verse 6. It says, and Delilah said to Shimshon, tell me, I pray thee, wherein thy great strength lieth, wherewith thou mightest be bound to afflict thee. And Shimshon said unto her.
Just think about it. She was willing to lay next to him, and I'm gonna just leave it at the PG-13 version. Right. She was willing to lay next to him and do all of those different things, but yet she was still willing to. I mean, literally, they said to her, tell us what we can do to bind him and afflict him. And she was just like, okay. Just be careful who the person that you think you will fall in love with. Right. I'm just saying. Go ahead.
And Shimshon said unto her, if they bind me with 7 fresh bowstrings that were never dried, then shall I become weak and be as any other man. Then the lords of the Philistines brought up to her 7 fresh bowstrings, which had not been dried, and she bound them with them. Now she had lies and wait abiding in the inner chamber. And she said unto him, the Philistines are upon thee, Shimshon. And he broke the bowstrings as a string of tow is broken when it toucheth the fire. So his strength was not known. And Delilah said unto Shimshon, behold, thou hast mocked me.
Wait.
Right.
Wait.
Come on.
Wait. Hold on. Let's just take this in.
Right.
Let's just go through this step by step so we can understand exactly what happened. She said to him, tell me, I pray thee, wherein thy great strength lieth, and wherewith thou mightest be bound and afflicted.
She's telling him everything.
She said that to him.
He's not the sharpest knife.
And he's like, wouldn't that like make you think like,
she set me up?
Like what? What do you? I mean, like, for real? But you know, so he does it. He tells her. He gives her his answer, right? He gives her his answer. And so what was the first one? That broken with bowstrings, right? Bowstrings that have never been dried. So he tells her. He wakes up because she's like, oh my God, Shimshon, the Philistines are upon you. And he wakes up and he's literally bound with like bowstrings. And then so he pops the bowstrings, and so like at a certain point, you don't think like,
you didn't realize
what just happened here? Like what just happened here? Right. Are you for real? And then so she has the audacity,
yes, sir,
to ask him again.
The goal.
You mocked me.
You mocked me. Why is you playing?
Right.
Tell me the truth. How might somebody behind you and afflict you?
Right.
Stop playing. Man.
Right.
Go ahead.
Verse 10. And Delilah said unto Shimshon, behold, thou hast mocked me and told me lies.
Why'd you lying?
Now tell me, I pray thee, wherewith thou mightest be bound. And he said unto her, if they only bind me with new ropes wherewith no work have been done, then shall I become weak and be as any other man.
Not a game, bro.
So Delilah took new ropes and bound him therewith, and said unto him, the Philistines are upon thee, Shimshon. And the lies in wait were abiding in the inner chamber, and he broke them from off his arm like a thread.
Hold on. So like, they was actually in the inner chamber with him.
Yeah.
Like they was just like, all of this was like
free show.
And I listen.
Not again.
You know what happened? And I mean, I joked around, and I'm saying that I don't think he. Listen, what I honestly think happened was, to him, this whole thing was a joke.
Yeah.
It was a joke. And the worst part about it was that he took what God gave him for granted.
Yes,
he took his responsibility that he had for granted.
Yeah.
Like I said, from the beginning of the chapter, the Most High God, from before he was born, before he was conceived, the Most High God had a plan for him on what he wanted to do and how he wanted him to be, what he wanted him to do. Shimshon bore that responsibility, and because of him, who he was, God still had his plan, so God just made his plan work out in a different way. Because God's plan was his plan. But the thing about Shimshon, like I said, to him it was all a joke.
Right.
It was like, okay, whatever. I mean, you can tell by the responses, like, new ropes. So now I wake up with new ropes, and it's all a big joke.
Right.
Come on.
Verse 13. And Delilah said unto Samson, hitherto thou hast mocked me and told me lies. Tell me wherewith thou mightest be bound. And he said unto her, if thou weavest the 7 locks of my head with the web. And she fastened it with the pin, and said unto him, the Philistines are upon thee, Samson. And he awoke out of his sleep, and plucked away the pin off the beam and the web. And she said unto him, how canst thou say, I love thee, when thy heart is not with me?
Wow.
Thou hast mocked me these 3 times, and hast not told me wherein thy great strength lies.
What love got to do with it? Got to do with it.
You get close though.
Do it. This time she was smart. She ain't have them just jump out. This time she just wound the head and put a little knot in it and a little clip in it and all that. This time she ain't have him jump out. Because at a certain point he would have just, I would have hoped that he would have just got upset. But how can you say you love me?
I'm number 4, right?
This is the 3rd time. Right, 3rd time. 3 times he told her, and 3 times. Right.
Gotcha.
Go ahead, keep reading.
Delilah overcomes Samson. Verse 16. And it come to pass, when she pressed him daily with her words, and urged him, that his soul was vexing unto death.
Every day.
Talk me to death.
Hence comes the term, talk me to death.
Yeah.
Every day. Every day.
Verse 17.
Because, you know, that's the thing about men and women is that, like, men, look, after a certain point, like, too much talking is just too much talking.
Right.
And you just start to get a headache. And you just want it to stop. And I'm not saying that women are nagging sometimes. I'm just saying men just don't like to hear certain things all the time.
Over and over.
Over.
Especially
over. Same thing. Every day. So after a certain point, he just like, look, fine. Leave me alone. Here it is. And I think women know that. I think women know if I just keep doing it.
Persistence
That's the power of a woman.
Overcomes resistance.
You get a response. Sometimes it's a good response. Sometimes it's a bad response. But I think sometimes women are just willing to take that shot. And here she is. She just keeps going. So he just let it all out. Because it's like, you know, when you, like, when somebody is just talking and you just had enough and you starting to get a headache and you trying to watch the game and and they just talking and you just had enough. Come on.
Verse 17, it reads, and he told her all his heart and said unto her,
Oh, no.
Look,
there have not come a razor upon my head,
he lets
for I
out
have
all
been
the
a
secrets.
Nazarite unto God from my mother's womb.
Everything. He told him that his mother's middle name was Kevin. He told her everything. Just stop talking. Go ahead.
If I've been shaven, then my strength will go from me, and I shall become weak and be like any other man. And when Delilah saw,
but that's what he didn't understand. Because that wasn't true.
right.
His strength wasn't in his hair. His strength wasn't in the fact that he was a Nazarite. His strength was in God.
That's right.
That's where it came from.
That's the moral.
So everything that happened, if you notice, all of these different stories that come about, well, most of them anyway, especially when the ones where it said that he killed up a whole bunch of people, what did it say? And the spirit of Yahweh came upon him.
Right.
Everything was God. Samson forgot that everything was God.
Hallelujah.
And he started talking about, listen, I'm so brolic like this because I do 700 push-ups and then I do 3,500 dips and then in the next hour, then I start to do 3,900 crunches and all those different things, and all of that will stop if you cut my hair. That wasn't the case. Samson forgot or didn't understand exactly the weight and the responsibility of the portion it was that he had.
Right. That's right.
Come on.
Verse 18. And when Delilah saw that he had told her all his heart,
And she knew it.
she sent and called.
That savage, uncircumcised, and I know she a girl, but she was still uncircumcised because she was nasty and she was foul. And as soon as he let it all out, she was like, I got it. This is it. This is it. Come on.
Called for the lords of the Philistines, saying, come up this once,
This is it.
for he hath told me all his heart.
He let it all out. So when you brothers, man, look, I'm not saying men shouldn't communicate and all of those different things. You know, unfortunately for me, I don't do well with communication a lot of times. The best communication that most Maisha get from me is like, you know what I mean. You know what I'm trying to say. I know, Zaccar, you love me. You wouldn't do anything. You can know what you can do without me. I'm the best choice you ever made in your life, Zaccar. I understand that's exactly what you meant. And all I said was, and she understood it to mean all that. I understand. But this time, when he let it all out, he let it all out. She knew it. Come on.
Don't get frustrated.
Then the lords of the Philistines came up unto her and brought the money in their hand.
Gave her the money.
And she made him sleep upon her knees, and she called for a man.
Listen, she did it good too. I know, you had a rough day, baby. Just lay down. Here, come, just lay your head on my lap. I know. It's okay. Just relax. You so strong. You so pretty. You a handsome. Go ahead, just relax. And like he just like, you don't know it.
She loved me.
Love her.
I'ma just leave. Go ahead.
And had the 7 locks of his head shaven off. And she began to afflict him, and his strength went from him.
So she checked it out first. We good. We good. Come on.
Verse 20. And she said, the Philistines are upon thee, Shimshon. And he awoke out of his sleep and said, I will go out as at other times and shake myself.
Yeah.
But he knew not that Yahweh had departed from him.
That was the issue. So now, if he was a big 7'9", strapping brother, he was still all that. But God had left, so all that 7'9", brolic, all of that. So imagine some 7'9", brolic dude with a ball.
Yeah.
Come on.
21. And the Philistines laid hold on him and put out his eyes. And they brought him down to Gaza.
My brothers, for y'all who, I just want y'all to understand and recognize, listen, this is the same one, she's the same chick. She was rubbing all that. She did all that. They smacked him, they beat him, put his eyes out, and all that.
And she didn't care.
And she did not care.
Right.
It's a lot to be said about falling in love with the wrong woman.
That's right.
Keep that in mind. Come on.
It says, and with feathers of brass.
All that.
And he did grind in the prison house. Howbeit, the hair of his head began to grow again after he was shaven. And the lords of the Philistines gathered them together to offer a great sacrifice unto Dagon, their God, and to rejoice. For they said, our God hath delivered Shimshon, our enemy, into our hand.
And that was the mistake.
Verse 24. And when the people saw him, they praised their God, for they said, our God hath delivered him into our hand, our enemy, and the destroyer of our country, who hath slain many of us.
Right.
And it came to pass, when their hearts were merry, that they said, call for Shimshon, that we may make a sport. And they called for Shimshon out of the prison house, and he made sport before them. And they set him between the pillars. And Shimshon said unto the lad that held him by the hand, suffer me that I may feel the pillars whereupon the house resteth, that I may lean upon them. Verse 27. Now the house was full of men and women,
Men and women came to see this. Come on.
And all the lords of the Philistines were there.
Everybody.
And there were upon the roof upon 3,000 men and women that beheld while Samson made sport.
And that's what they did. They saw him and they smacked. All of those movies that you see, they spit on them. They did everything. I mean, they whipped them. They beat them. Smacked them around. Is this Israel champ? This is what we're going to do to Israel and their God. And that was the problem. The problem wasn't that, the problem was that the Most High,
First God.
in the beginning, the Most High said he had all of this to happen because he sought occasion against the Philistines, and he brought the Philistines the same type of punishment and despair that they gave to Israel. That's what God did. Come on.
That's right.
Verse 28. And Samson called unto Yahweh and said, O Yahweh God, remember me, I pray thee, and strengthen me, I pray thee, only this once, O God, that I may be this once avenged of the Philistines.
I understand that.
For my 2 eyes.
I understand now. You're a king. Go ahead, keep reading.
Verse 29.
Keep
And
reading.
Samson took fast hold of the 2 middle pillars upon which the house rested,
the whole house,
and leaned upon them.
Listen,
the one with his right hand,
and he pushed, and he leaned, and he pushed, and he pushed those 2
and the
pillars
other
apart
with his
with
left.
the help of God. Come on.
And Samson said, let me die with the Philistines. And he bent with all his might, and the house fell upon the lords, and upon all the people that were therein. So the dead that he slew at his death were more than they that he slew in his life. Then his brethren and all the house of his father came down.
It's bringing this to pass because I'm seeking occasion against the Philistines because of the ruthless and despicable manner in which those uncircumcised animals treated my people Israel. That's what they got. Who said God was an all-love God? Come on.
And took him and brought him up and buried him between Zorah and Eshtaol in the burying place of Manoah his father. And he judged Yisrael 20 years. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah. Blessed be. Praises, respect, acknowledgement, and thanks I offer unto the great King of the universe, to the God of our fathers, the God of Abraham, Yitzchak, and Yaakov, thanking him for all things and everything. Shabbat Shalom L'Kol.
Shabbat Shalom.